Bioshock 1 Remastered. So this will contain no spoilers apart from the weapons that you will get throughout the game. I will avoid all spoilers story-wise. So the start of the story is that you crash. You're on a plane, and then you crash to the ocean and find a mysterious island, and you descend basically to it. So there is an underwater city that you will find. This is at the very start of the game, so it's pretty much not a spoiler at all. So yeah, that's how the game starts, and um, you get into contact with someone who requires your help. He tells you about what's going on with the city and what's been happening. So, and then he asks for your help to sort of, take back control of the and the chaos basically. So yeah, that's the start of the story. For the mechanics, you have um, gameplay mechanics. You have the wrench, guns. You will also get a crossbow at some point, and um, I believe like an RPG cannon. And there are powers within the game. So the powers come from Adam, which is one of the main, uh, I would say, factors contributing to the story, if not, the very, you know, essence of the story. So Adam is a resource that they found through sort of like it's a substance that gives you basically power. So in the game, you will get Adam from Little Sisters. I'll discuss Little Sisters in a bit. So yeah, when you have Adam, you can purchase plasmids from vending machines. So basically, Adam is a genetic material they get from sea slugs that they find around the city Rapture. It's like a unique uh it's a unique creature. So and yeah, so you use Adam to buy plasmids, and plasmids are the powers themselves. It's how they call them. So as you as you go through the game, you do get your own choice to as to which plasmid you want. This could either be like combat plasmids that well, you can use in combat, or it could be, let's say, for hacking, for increasing your health or increasing your Eve. Eve is like your mana meter in the game. So yeah, and you will get Eve in like um they're blue injections essentially. You can use those to replenish your Eve, so you can keep using your plasmids. The plasmids, you will have to unlock slots along the way throughout the story, and you will be and you, so you can assign more different types of plasmids to yourself. Some are like diversionary, so you know and some are actively like damaging to an opponent, like fire, electricity, things like that. So as I mentioned, you collect Adam from Little Sisters. Little Sisters are children who were, well, essentially kidnapped and used to produce Adam. So the underwater sea slugs that produces Adam became very popular, and then everyone wanted, to have their own plasmid, their own power. So those became high in demand, and they needed to produce more atom. So this is kind of gross, but the sea slugs were then incubated. They found out that the sea slugs are very compatible with little girls, so they incubated the sea slugs apparently in their stomach, and so the little sisters produce Adam themselves. However, it's it was still not enough given the high demand for Adam. Um, so some of the villains of the story decided to condition the little sisters to harvest Adam from dead splicers. Splicers are like um people who really got addicted to plasmids. Basically, they went insane, and yeah. So little sisters collect Adam. However, they are unable to defend themselves. So because splicers also do want little sisters for their Adam. Little sisters are basically like super drugged up, and so they don't really have much control as to what they're doing. I remember they are also mind controlled apart from the drugs, so they're really out of their minds. Little sisters, given how they can't protect themselves, they're protected by big daddies. Big daddies are there's two kinds. There's two kinds of big daddies: rosies and bouncers. So yeah, rosies and bouncers. They were originally not really meant to be protectors of the little sisters. They served a different function for the city. But when the demand for Adam became insane and the city needed as much Adam as much Adam as they can get, they repurposed the big daddies, the Rosies and the Bouncers, to be protectors of the little sisters. There's a bit of conditioning there as well, where the big daddies need the little sisters essentially. It's sort of symbiotic relationship. Like they condition the big daddies literally to perceive the little sisters, or at least treat them and protect them like they are their own daughters. So it's a father-daughter bond essentially. So yeah, it's a very interesting story, and there are a lot of twists. I would say in terms of player choice, there are two major player choices. You can either harvest a little sister for their Adam, which you would get a lot more Adam if you harvest a little sister, but harvesting them means killing them. Or you can rescue a little sister and get not as much Adam. I think it's less than half than what you would get if you harvested them. And essentially, you would take. They would essentially like wake up from their conditioning if you rescued them. I haven't. I actually never killed any little sister, and I'm very proud of that. I got the achievement. I'll place it here somewhere in the video. So yeah, and apparently I was playing on the hardest difficulty. I didn't know I was playing on the hardest difficulty. No wonder I died so much. But then again, I'm also not very good. The big daddies, I would say, are the biggest threats in the game. They are very aggressive and they will protect the little sisters. And the little sisters will always perceive you as a threat because, well, I think they perceive everything that lives th- apart from a Big Daddy as a threat. Yeah, because they also fight with the other plasmid users, the other splicers, when they're alive. Those splicers do attack them as well. But you don't need to attack a little sister to trigger um, a Big Daddy's aggression. So yeah, it's I would say the atmosphere of the game never really lets up. It's always very dark, and there's always whispers that you can hear from, within the walls, and it's very creepy. I love it. Um, Even the vending machines where you get, your tools, your supplies, it's very creepy. Throughout the game, it always creeps me out. It's always like the vending machines have a pre-recorded voice where it's always super happy, but also like unhinged happy. So there's that. The little sisters refer to their big daddies as Mr. B usually, and if you just listen to them walk around, they do say like very childish things. And one of the things that I heard the most when I die because of a Big Daddy is the little sister exclaiming in a rushed, fearful voice, "Chocolate is better than cake. Chocolate is better than cake." Like, yeah, there is humanity left in the little sisters, and they do seem very playful, with the way they speak. So yeah, I would say that's the only light thing about the game. Is it? Yeah. Um, so one tip I would share, playing on the hardest difficulty throughout the game, is you really need to hack everything, like really hack everything that you can. Hack the cameras, especially the cameras. They're very helpful throughout the game. Splicers or the enemies, you can always like lure them into a trap. You can make them chase you. They will chase you once they see you. You don't even need to attack them. I think there was only one time where um yeah, there was this couple. I believe they were married, and they wouldn't attack you unless you attack them. So yeah, anyway, you can lure them into the traps, or you can use some type of plasmid that can, you know make the cameras perceive the splicers as the threat instead, when it pans over them when they get caught in the light. So yeah, hack all the cameras. Also hack, yep, just hack everything. Hack the cameras. Hack the like the health station. You'd find it throughout the game, and you would really need it. Hack the turrets as well. Like, yeah, you need to hack the turrets. They're very powerful, and it will really help if you can lure your enemies towards them. They can also help, especially the ones that fires missiles. Yeah, they would really help you with taking down the big daddies, especially early on in the game. I would say all throughout the game, the big daddies are very difficult for me. They You can stun them with electricity, but they're really, tough to kill, and they're very aggressive in protecting their little sisters. You would see some big daddies walking around without little sisters and banging on the wall, trying to like find them. And I don't remember if it's in the game, or maybe it's in the second game. I haven't played it yet, but I did read that the big daddies have a need to be with the little sisters. Otherwise, they would be like catatonic. They would be paralyzed. So yeah, I think it's pheromone based, but yeah, because you'll find out later if you play the game. Hopefully, you do play the game. So yeah, in terms of interactivity with the environment, you can basically bludgeon corpses with your wrench. I did it a couple of times just to, I'm not sadistic. I'm just trying to like see how much I can interact with the environment around me. So, there are movable objects. There is also a plasmid called telekinesis. So, you can throw around objects that you can interact with. If you can push it basically by walking, forward, or, jumping to it, if, it will react to those things, you can probably use your, telekinesis to throw those things around as well. So yeah, um, you can also try hitting mirrors. They do crack, but not there's not that many things that happens. Sorry, mirrors. I mean, glass. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The story is very, very good. That's why I don't want to talk much about it. The mechanics are great in my opinion. Um, you do rely more on your guns than I really can't use the wrench that much. The splicers are very difficult to handle close range because I don't think you can stun them with a wrench. Maybe there's a certain plasmid that I didn't equip. I didn't. I focused more on, like on combat plasmids, so active combat. So yeah, overall, my final rating would be I highly recommend that you buy it. Like, buy it right now if you haven't played it, especially if you're into horror, if you're into creepy things, but also if you're really into a great story. There's a very good story here. It's not your run of the mill monsters, or there's monsters, underneath the ocean. That's pretty much it now. It's a very intricate story. It's very fascinating. And for the love of God, please do not kill the little sisters.